Most of those jobs are blue collar. About 75% were what you would traditionally classify as a blue collar job, okay? In our region alone, we're going to create over 4,000 directly related jobs. 4,000 directly related jobs. That's not people in restaurants, hotels, food service. It's not any of that. These are jobs directly related to the industry. If you're in economic development, which at least one gentleman here has an ED background, you usually take this and put in multipliers, and then it calculates how many other jobs are generated in the community. For this particular industry, the multiplier, depending on who you listen to, is about 1.7 or 1.9. So for every 4,000 direct jobs, you're going to generate, you know, pick a number, another 6, 8, 10,000 additional jobs out there in the community. Construction jobs, building hotels, I mean, you name it, you see it every day here. So the workforce demand and ramp up, if I start in 2009, this was the size of the ramp up in our workforce, okay? And we projected out through about 2013 based upon information that the industry gave us. Past here, it got to be speculative, and so we're going to redo this study to see kind of where we're headed based on the dynamics that are out there today. But this is the ramp-up curve that this region's been under the last 3 years. This slide I want to take a minute and explain. I usually get two questions out of groups like this, and one is, how long are the jobs going to be here? Okay. And this slide attempts to explain that because it's a complicated answer, and if anybody pretends to give you a knowledgeable answer, don't believe them, okay? The size of the Marcellus, I talked about the size of it. This play is different than any other play that they've ever been involved in the world. This thing is 95,000 square miles. If you look at the data I just had up there that said we have 100 and some rigs drilling, one rig can only drill on average about 10 to 12 wells a year. Each well covers about a square mile. If you just did the math with the number of rigs operating here, it would take 50 to 70 years to drill out the Marcellus at a minimum, okay? Now, all kinds of factors in there makes that not a good statistic. Not all of the Marcellus may be drilled, okay? Some will, some won't. Some regions will be drilled more heavily than others, like Bradford County, like Lycoming County, all right? But on average, if you were to make two assumptions, that there's 30 years of active drilling or 50 years of active drilling, the numbers kind of look like this, okay? This is statewide now. These are statewide numbers. Most estimates out there will predict around 35,000 direct jobs in the state of Pennsylvania. Again, direct, not hotel operators, not any of that. So as long as the drilling takes place, this blue bar in here is the pre-drilling and drilling phase. That's when all the activity's taking place. So if drilling takes place for 30 years, that's the amount of activity and jobs that will be here. Those jobs will be here for 30 years. If 50 years of drilling take place, it's that. Once the drilling stops, the lifespan of these wells, again, nobody knows for sure, but on average should be about 20 years. If the Barnett is an example, etc., we think each well will get at least 20 years of production. Over that 20-year period after it's drilled, they still need maintained. They need to go out and make sure that they're calibrated correctly, etc. So there's a number of occupations that once things are drilled, and most times are called pumpers or well tenders. There's different names for that. But those jobs will last out here. So what, in terms of how long will the workforce be here, we tried to basically say they're generational jobs. It's not a 2-year job, it's not 5-year, they're here for generations. Is it 1, 2, 3? Don't know. Nobody knows. And then there's speculation. For instance, if you, let's say over the 50 or 70-year period, they drill out all the Marcellus. Will they come back and go down the same hole, go down another 1,500 feet and do the Utica, and then it lasts for another 30 years, 50 years? Nobody knows. But the bottom line is, short of some cataclysmic event that you can't foresee, the jobs are here for quite a while. The volumes may go up and down, okay, as you're saying, but they'll be here for quite a while. Yes?